Happy New Year. Let's welcome in 2026. My name is Mark Walson. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Weekday Wagers, the first Weekday Wagers show of the brand new year. Wow. Listen, I hope you guys all had a wonderful, fantastic New Year's Eve, very safe New Year's Eve. And would love to know, actually, some of the wishes that you have for this new year. What are you looking for or forward to in the coming year? Would love to get some of the chat's input on that because, we're going to be going to Robbie Hockey here in just a second, and I know he's got a ton of stuff he's looking forward to this year. But before we can talk about what's lying in front of us, let's take a look and see what happened to us yesterday. And, not a bad day. 50-50. Anthony Black did not come through. He finished with 15 points, went 0 for 3 from behind the arc, which certainly didn't help that. Thankfully, Mr. Jet Greaves with the Columbus Blue Jackets, he did his thing, and the Blue Jackets won the first period 2-0, so we cashed that ticket. All in all, not a bad way to end 2025. It could have been a lot worse. I'm glad it wasn't. But, Robbie, first of all, Happy New Year, brother. How you doing?
Happy New Year, Mark. Happy New Year, Chet. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I finished the new year about like I normally do. I thought Sarah was going to ruin my bet, but she fell asleep with about 10 minutes to go. So it was just me and the champagne. So.
Okay. Well, listen, you don't have to worry about getting into an argument with just the bottle of champagne, do you? You're never going to offend anybody.
True that.
Hey, listen, first of all, college football. Yesterday was a little crazy. Today, we got the rest of the college football playoff games taking place. Before we get into today, I would love to hear what you thought about last night's game.
Yeah, we were talking about before the show. I wish I'd been on yesterday because I didn't pick Miami to win. I didn't bet anything on that game. I did pick them in my ESPN fun bracket ordeal. I picked them to beat Ohio State. But I thought they would cover because one name, Ruben Bain, is the main reason why. That defensive line of Miami is nasty. I think, the quarterback, Carson Beck, he's got some playoff under his belt. He's got some big games under his belt. They're not going to be an easy out in this playoff, no matter who they face.
Do you think that first round bye, when it comes to, because we saw it last year and I think we saw it again last night, that first round bye, it hurts teams from getting into it and really keeping that momentum and that kind of familiarity together?
Yeah, and I mean, it's 3 weeks, right, that Ohio State was off. That's a lot of time off between football games. So I think that has a lot to do with it. You have Christmas in between that. You've got all kinds of other things going on between that. It takes your focus away. But two, it was just, I know the ACC sucked. You guys absolutely nailed it. The ACC is a crap of a conference. But Miami is a solid team. I was speaking on them whenever they played Florida early in the year before we figured out Florida sucks. But I've really enjoyed their defensive line. I think, like I said, I hope the Dallas Cowboys somehow can get Ruben Bain out of this draft. I think that's a home run hit. And Then two, the only thing that's going to be their downfall is Mario Cristobal. That's not the head coach that I trust if the game is tight and you're playing a good competition. Like they had that game pretty much sold up last night. But if it's down to like a 3-score game and they're having to come back, I do not trust Mario Cristobal in that.
Yeah, you get into that whole, well, what if this happened? What if that happened? If this would have done this, if this could have, would have, could have, should have. Without that pick six, right? Miami doesn't win that game.
Correct.
Ohio State came out at halftime and shut Miami down. And I think that's what scares me going forward for Miami is that they literally just got shut down in that second half.
Yeah, that offense is pretty stagnant, but that defense is so good that it makes up for the flaws of their offense. So it will be interesting. You face a team like Indiana. Now, I'm definitely not picking Miami to win, and I probably don't pick them to cover the spread, whatever that is, because Indiana is an all-around team. Georgia is probably the second best as far as all-around. They struggle a little bit as far as their offense goes as well, but you don't run on Georgia. And if Miami has to play Georgia, they're not going to be able to run as well on Georgia.
Well, listen, you bring up Indiana, right? And we're going out to the Rose Bowl. They're taking on the Crimson Tide of Alabama. The weather out there is a huge factor right now. They've got the field tarped off. It is absolutely raining cats and dogs in Southern California right now. I saw a statistic this morning where California, who is normally, I grew up in Southern California. We grew up in droughts throughout my entire, ever since I can remember. But the reservoirs now are not only just filled to capacity, they're at over capacity. They have so much water. What do you think that does to the dynamic of this game between Indiana and Alabama?
Very sloppy. I think it's going to be a very sloppy game. I think Alabama, they're Alabama, right? Whether it's Nick Saban or DeBoer, there's still a lot of that talent around. My cousin at the funeral yesterday was trying to get some insight on this game. I'm like, well, one, I can't bet player props, so I'm not much of a help to you. I was like, but two, everybody's told Indiana how great they are lately, and everybody's talked them up because of the season they've had. It could be a letdown spot, especially with this crappy weather, for Crimson Tide to somehow overcome all of that and beat them. I hope not. I'm pulling for Alabama or for Indiana, but it wouldn't shock me.
Well, you bring up some great points because literally Indiana beat Ohio State, right, for the Big Ten championship. That was their Super Bowl, right? That's how they made their mark on the national stage. The Heisman Trophy winner in the quarterback there at Indiana. What's the motivation now? Is it tough, or it scares me from a trap spot in the sense that this could be a huge letdown game, and we see a Indiana team come out as flat as Ohio State was last night.
Yeah, and I think the difference is Cignetti, right? He's got that mindset. Surely he's had in those guys' ears all these days off, all these weeks off, telling them, like, the job's not finished. Yes, we won the Big Ten. We overcome Ohio State, but we still got more games to go. It is an Alabama team, though, that has been playing better. And if you watch the Oklahoma game, they started off slow. Oklahoma went up big. But after they made adjustments, Oklahoma did nothing in that game, especially in the second half. I think Cignetti, though, is one of those guys where, his trademark is Google me, right? So I think he will have that team ready to go. It's just a factor of weather at this point. But I think Indiana has the better quarterback. I think Indiana has great wide receivers as well. So I don't know. That's a close game. That's one that's hard to really choose. And it's kind of like Ole Miss and Georgia. I know we'll get to them in a second. That's a tough one as well, just because of all the outside noise that's happened with Ole Miss as of late.
And before we get to that game, I do want to touch on the game that's taking place right now. Oregon just stripped the Texas Tech quarterback, Morton, got the ball, ran it all the way down to the 6-yard line. They're getting ready to score here. They're in the red zone, and they just punched it through to go up 12-0 here to start the third. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I honestly thought Texas Tech had a good advantage because Oregon normally sucks in these early start games, and they've started slow. They scored 6 points before half, but they didn't allow Texas Tech to do anything offensively. And now with that big turnover, I think this may have all but done it for Texas Tech. I think Oregon's going to roll the rest of this one.
Yeah, I think Oregon's got the horses that they can just chew up the clock and run this thing out. And I will say, watching the first half of this game, was a little shocked how many times, look, I don't know why they have a punter on the team, to be honest with you, other than to throw a fake punt, because that's the only thing he has done this game is on every fourth down, Oregon's gone for it, and they've come up short on most of them except for the fake punt. And I just think that aggressiveness can really sometimes take away any momentum, anything that you've got going, and can hurt you. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought I was watching Dan Campbell for just a minute because they didn't punt the ball at all. Yeah, and then you got Dante Moore. As you know, he was a Heisman finalist. He's talked up as maybe the first pick in the NFL draft. He's solid. I thought Texas Tech had a better shot. Honestly, I thought they were kind of undervalued because they're in the Big 12, right, who they really play throughout the year. But I thought they would show up a little bit more than today, but they didn't. And I think this is only going to get worse from here. I don't think they have the dogs to run with Oregon in the second half.
And speaking of dogs, let's get to the last game on the slate tonight. You like that little segue right there? That's a nice little transition.
Nice.
See that? We got Georgia going against Ole Miss and the Kithenless Ole Miss Rebels. If that even makes sense. I don't know what that means. Any thoughts on this game? Who do you like?
Well, Kiffin apparently is going to be in the booth tonight. They said he's going to be there with the governor of Louisiana at this game. So I don't know why he would do that unless because it didn't end well in Ole Miss, right? He didn't end on good terms, which when does he ever leave on good terms? But does this piss those players off more knowing that he's there? Does that give Ole Miss more extra motivation? I mean, they played JMU, which, let's face it, it was JMU. They looked really, really good against them. But this is also Kirby Smart. He beat them the first matchup. Kirby beat Ole Miss. I wish Kirby had lost that first game because, like I said, you don't beat Kirby twice in the same year. Kirby won that one. I don't know, man. This is another toss-up because I think Chambliss, the quarterback for Ole Miss, is so good that he will keep them in that game.
Does it scare you at all with Georgia being so heavily? I mean, Georgia's expected to win, right? Everyone,
right?
This thing is all but the Bulldogs to lose. Does that scare you that maybe this is it scares the hell out of me because I'm afraid we're going to get a Georgia team that looked just like Ohio State last night. And all of a sudden, here's a team where everyone's expecting to roll, and now we got another upset.
A little bit, but the fact is Pete Golding is coaching Ole Miss right now, not Lane Kiffin, who is a defensive guy. He's not the offensive guy. I know they've got oh man, help me out. I can't remember their offensive coordinator's name. He's the son of a really great coach. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, he's there. He's going to be calling their plays. I don't know, man. It's hard to go against Georgia. They've been here so many times. Kirby Smart is basically Nick Saban Jr. I don't know if I would bet the spread, but I do like Georgia to win this game.
Last question on the college football playoffs for you. Does the outcome of last night with Miami beating Ohio State, regardless of the outcome of the rest of the games, does this solidify the committee's decision to get Miami in and not include the Notre Dames and, et cetera?
Oh, it 100% does. I think our buddy Soupy even posted that on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, yep, I agree with you for once, Soupy. I agree with you. It's Ohio State, right? They weren't the number one team, but throughout the season, they were solidified the number one team in the nation, and Miami went out there and beat them by 10. That spread was Ohio State 10.5, and Miami was the one who won by 10. So I think the committee got it right as far as putting Miami in over Notre Dame, which they should have. Miami won that head-to-head. In my book, they did what they were supposed to do.
That's never going to sit well with me. That's never going to sit well with me, especially because it's Miami. And I grew up in the age. I grew up the age of the Catholics versus the convicts. I mean, that was real for me. So, that's always going to be a sore spot for me.
You're talking Florida Gator Miami. I don't like Miami either. I hate Miami. I wanted Miami to I don't even like Ohio State, but I hate Miami just a little bit more. So I was actually hoping Ohio State would have won that game. Gotcha. Well,
I'll tell you what. If you're talking about winning games and winning just in general, you want to surprise your next dinner guest? This is the way you do it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Seabass, the only 5-star chef in the game. We all know sports betting is full of bad beats and tough calls, but when it comes to flavor, there's no second guessing. Bassett's Blends is the plus EV lock of every meal. We don't need a stinking model. Crafted with winning spices and bold taste, Bassett's Blends comes in 3 flavors, original, hot, and no salt, that's going to turn chicken, steak, vegetables, any dish into a can't-miss cover every night. With Bassett's Blends, there's no bad beats, no flavor fades, just guaranteed greatness. Check out the link right here where you can pick up your Bassett's Blends for a guaranteed lock every single night.
I'll tell you what, that's exactly how I'm ringing in the new year tonight. We got a beautiful prime rib dinner and some roasted potatoes, and you can bet that the Bassett Blends hot blend will be all over those bad boys before I serve them up. Let's get to my play. I am taking the Nashville Predators to score a power play goal at plus 100. And right now, Nashville is playing some of its best hockey of the season. They've won 5 of the last 6 games. They've scored 8 goals over the last 2 games. And you can really feel the confidence starting to grow, especially when it comes to the power play. When they get the man advantage in the left, they've had 3 goals over the last 2 games and 5 over the last 4. And a big reason for that confidence is you got Saros. Saros is bouncing back in net. He's the steadier goaltending has really helped improve the confidence of this Nashville team. On Seattle, they're taking on the Kraken, And yes, they've got some wins there recently, but their offense is still an issue. They're averaging just 2.5 goals per game. And when you combine that with the penalty kill that ranks 31st in the league at 71%, it really does create some vulnerability here. If Seattle gives Nashville even a couple of chances with a man advantage, I think it tilts everything in our favor. The Predators will score a power play goal, and we'll get a nice little plus 100 cash ticket to start the new year. Rob, what do you got?
Man, I feel like we're in Stranger Things in the Upside Down. We're talking about the Predators being good on the power play. That's just crazy to me, but you're absolutely right, and I love that play. I'm going to go to two guys in a point parlay tonight at plus 143, and that's Austin Matthews and Adrian Kempe. Matthews returns tonight after taking a puck to the face 2 games ago. He took the last game off, but he returns tonight, and Toronto is looking great at home. Toronto got a big win the other night at home without Nylander and without Matthews. I think Matthews comes back tonight. I think he gets a point against Winnipeg, but I also think he can score a goal tonight as well. He's recorded 1 point in 5 straight with 4 goals and 4 assists against the Jets. Winnipeg's coming off a game last night where they lost a heartbreaker to Detroit. They're on a back-to-back. I'm not sure if Comrie or Hellebuck's going to be in goal tonight. Either way, I love Austin Matthews. Then we're going to go to Adrian Kempe of the LA Kings. They're facing the Tampa Bay Lightning, another team coming off a big overtime win yesterday against Anaheim. But again, it's not as big of a travel. Anaheim, San Jose, not too far from each other. Anaheim and LA, not too far from each other. But I love Adrian Kempe. Darcy Kemper is also back tonight. He may be a little rusty, but I trust Kemper over Tampa Bay right now. Kempe has 4 goals and 4 assists in his last 10 games. And then he had 2 goals in the last meeting against the Lightning. So I'm just looking for him and Matthews to both get a point, and you can cash this at plus 143.
I love it, especially with Kemper coming back in goal for the Kings. Look, he has been, as a first period aficionado, because I'm a glutton for punishment, he has been an absolute horse when it comes to keeping teams scoreless in the first and hitting the first period under. So I'm going to wait and see. This is a wait and see game for me before I fully back him. I want to make sure he's back in full play mode before we start attacking that one again. But that's great news to have him back. As Nate G just brought up, Kemper did make Team Canada.
That roster is nasty.
Yeah, they've got DG's most favorite American, Tom Wilson, just made the Canadian hockey team. So there's that. It is a loaded roster, isn't it?
We have to get USA versus Canada at some point in this tournament. It's got to happen because we need Tom Wilson versus a Kachuk brother like I need air to breathe.
Right. I agree with you. We got some great comments here. Let's see. Kim is saying, didn't Albert Hammond say it never rains in Southern California? Yes. And I can tell you for as long as I live there, that's the majority of that is true, but they're getting hammered right now. Taj jumped in here. Also a play with the Preds tonight. He's got a slight lean towards the under 5.5. I don't know. I would say slight lean is probably the right way to approach that. I don't know that I'm comfortable with that, but I certainly do like the Predators here on the money line. And
that makes me nervous. Everybody liking the Preds just makes me nervous now because we haven't been good, and I don't know. That makes me nervous. But it's the right.
You know what though? They said the same thing about the Ducks, and look at what the Ducks did. So I'm not even worried about that. You stop. Speaking of
which, look at your Sabres. 10 straight for the Buffalo Sabres in a playoff spot.
We don't talk.
But we can talk about the Preds. But we can't talk about the Sabres.
What are you doing? Are you trying to jinx the Sabres right now? Stop it. You're not talking about the streak.
I got Tage Thompson on my fantasy team. Hope he continues to kill it.
He's doing great. Taj is also he likes the under 55.5 Georgia Ole Miss. I agree with that. I think we're going to see a ground and pound type game between the Georgia, especially from the Georgia Bulldogs, just keeping the Ole Miss offense on the sidelines, controlling the clock, controlling time of possession. And that's going to lead to a low-scoring affair. I also like the under in the Alabama-Indiana game simply because I think the weather is going to be so bad. They're not going to be able to move the ball the way that they're used to. So I do like both of those. Let's see. Any more comments there? I'll tell you what. No comments. But we do have a huge announcement. Because we alluded to it a couple weeks ago said, look, there's some big things coming, not just for Weekday Wagers, but for the JustAStatSports.com crew. And we found a way to marry both of them together. So with that being said, let's see here. Let's go over here just and do this. We now will have Weekday Wager watch along shows. If you participated in the Fantasy Football League draft with us, you know that happened over Google Meets, and it was such a different feel than these shows are, right? I mean, first of all, nobody cares what we say, how we say it, what's happening. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of great banter going back and forth. We now, if you are a subscriber to JustAStatSports.com, you are going to get 4 watch-alongs with the Weekday Wager crew. So it would be myself, DG, Robbie, Taj, Preston, and the other handicappers that we're going to be bringing on here shortly who will be joining us. And we will I shouldn't say randomly. We will pick selected days, nights for this to happen. Simply because, one, we want to find engaging content. We want to have a lot of fun doing it. And yes, I can guarantee you there will be a Traitors episode some point down the line of a watch along. But this is really just an added perk, added benefit for the Just a Stat Sports subscribers to really participate and hang out. We love hanging out with each other regardless. Let's bring everybody in and do that. Our very first one is going to be January 9th, a week from this coming Friday. It's going to be for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Who are the 2 teams? No idea, because they're going to settle that today, right? So we don't know until later on tonight who that is going to be in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. However, we will be coming on very close to the end of that game. We're going to start our watch along at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. And yes, I have already I signed a written agreement that I cannot be more than 3 beverages in for these, because there will be no more episodes coming in after a gig. That's not going to happen. So, January 9th, 10:30 p.m. How do you sign up for this? How do you get involved with this? I think it is going to be a very, very simple process. First of all, when you sign up to JustAStatSports.com, you have to use your email address. For all active subscribers, we will send out the link for the watch along. You will get that. We can't wait to join you. And by the way, go over there, sign up now. Use code DATA, all capitals, DATA 100. You get your first month for 50% off. Not only that, you get all the AI sports models, you get all the picks, you get everything. The data sheets, which, by the way, are NBA first half data sheets yesterday. 8-1, Rob. 8-1, as we killed it. And
I'm sorry if you hear Finn, shh. I'm doing something.
I was like, wait a minute, where's that coming from?
It's my hard-headed youngest who doesn't know how to listen very well.
So you get all of those things, and now you're going to get the added benefit of getting 4 watch-along shows with us each and every month. And yes, we are going to have a great time. It's very entertaining. It is super laid back, super chilled. They're not always all going to be this late in the evening. We're just trying to do it to set up a time where we could talk about the game, kind of look ahead to see, what the rest of the playoffs look like at that point, and make it still fun and entertaining. So yes, we will be adjusting the time because as Kim said, I was just worried you may need a nap to stay up so late. If you knew what my New Year's Eve looked like, you're not far off. You are not far off at all. So there is that. Rob, how do you feel about the watch-alongs?
Oh, I love it. And speaking of kids, it may be one that the kids don't show up to watch because we usually get a little unfiltered on there. I know at the draft, we were a little unfiltered during the draft. So maybe keep the kids in bed, 9:30. Most of them should be in bed anyway. So, but I'm excited for it. And I can't wait to watch different games. Like we're going to have college football for the first one. I'm sure you and I could be watching some hockey games late at night. Maybe we can do some live bets on some hockey games as well. And then you got the NFL playoffs coming up. So, I mean, we got a lot of content coming up that we can really do this around. And I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, jump into it. And that's part of it, right? We wanted to keep it kind of sports themed. But like I said, we got Seabass's wife starting in Traders. And one, I can already tell you Seabass is going to be on the show to talk about that. And so that is definitely going to be something that we keep on our radar. And it doesn't always have to be a sports-themed show. It can be something else like a Traders watch along, which I always think is fun. If Survivor was going on, we do Survivor. But we do have our Light the Lamp. And getting into this, we got Jason Robertson at plus 125. We got Austin Matthews at plus 140. A little synergy there with your point parlay. Dylan Gunther at 180. The big cat himself at plus 195. And Alex Ovechkin, and I have some questions for you on this one, but he's at plus 210. Who do you like off of this list, Rob, or are you going off the board?
Well, Obi's playing right now, and there's one thing I know about Ovechkin is he likes to party, and I know he said he was going to be very hungover today, so I would stay away from Ovechkin. I think that game's about to go into the second period soon. I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to take Philip Forsberg as my anytime goal tonight at plus 170. Last time they faced Seattle, he had 2 goals. I like Steven Stamkos again. I think he's plus 190. He's never scored in Seattle, so you've got that narrative going for you. I sprinkled on that. And then it's New Year's. I'm feeling generous. I'm going to give you a third, and it's the guy's jersey I'm wearing, Luke Evangelista, and it goes perfectly with your power play point or power play goal. He's on the top power play line with Forsberg and with Stamkos. I think he could light the lamp tonight as well. He was at plus 320. He scored a goal the last time these teams met as well.
I love that look. I think that Nashville is one of those teams, right, that is secretly and quietly flying under the radar, and they've been winning games and they've been scoring a ton of goals. I love that look here. I'm going to go with my favorite team of all time, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews. Look, okay, maybe Toronto's not my favorite team of all time, but Austin Matthews will get a goal tonight. Why? Because they are playing the Winnipeg Jets. And it doesn't matter, as you just alluded to, doesn't matter who's in goal, doesn't matter which team he's playing. Well, actually it does, because when he plays against Winnipeg, he scored in 3 of the last 4. He's averaging a goal a game against Winnipeg. I love this spot for Austin to not only cash your point, the leg of your point parlay, but to light the lamp himself.
Yeah, TJ just brought up Nick Robertson. I like him tonight as well. I like Bobby McCann for Toronto tonight. I think you can get his point at plus 115. It wouldn't shock me if Nick Robertson or McCann scores a goal tonight for the Maple Leafs as well. I think that's a great look by TJ. Jason Robertson's little brother, Nick Robertson.
All righty. I like that too. Speaking of TJ, he also gave us the Ottawa Senators 1+ power play goal at minus 120. I don't have the stats on that one, but
don't either. I was keeping up with that game. It was 2-0 at the end of the first, but I haven't checked since. It's 2-1. I'm not sure. Let me check for you. See who scored and what it was. Was Nick Jensen? Doesn't look like it was a power play goal though, but it looks like they have cut the lead to 2-1.
So there you go. If that's a live bet, I wonder why that's at minus 120. If it's especially if it's
could have been something. He may have put it in before. He may have just been a play.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, we are welcoming in the new year, January 1st, 2026. Any resolutions for Robbie Hockey this year?
Yeah, for my family to stay out of the hospital and graveyards this year. That would be, if I can just get through 2026 with everybody staying healthy and, not having as many ER visits this year, I will chalk that up as a win. Sarah and I were talking about it last night. I'll put in 2025 in the rear view, and I'm never going to review it again. I know John's got a couple of surgeries coming up this year, so I know it's inevitable that I've got to go to some of that, but just stay healthy, my bunch and everybody's bunch. I just want everybody to be healthy this year going forward.
My resolution, and it's kind of a selfish one. And yes, as Scotty just said, hit that like button because for two reasons. One, look, I don't know what the hell happened, but we caught the algorithm wave, and over the last 2 days, I think we've already added like 100 subscribers, over 100 subscribers to our YouTube channel just in the last 2 days. So please, and thank you. Please and thank you. Hit that like button. If you're watching us on social media, hit the share button. Like, give us the little heart. Aw. And I know I should never do that. I
never do that again.
I won't. There's one of my resolutions for 2026. I'll never do heart hands again.
All right.
And the other resolution that I have is I want to find a way to, and I travel a lot. So let me preface that. I travel a lot. I want to find a way to, in 2025, I was lucky enough, and I do consider myself very lucky, to have met 3 people who are active in our chat who have been with us since day one. I mean, the OG Joe was the first one I met. Nonsense McGee, who is a lot of fun. He's a blast to hang out with. And RJ, I met him and his son at a Bills football game. My goal for 2026 is to meet as many people in the chat as I did last year, if not more. So that's my resolution. That's my goal. I'm working towards that. I will actively be posting up whenever I'm traveling to see who's around, and I will make every effort to get a chance to meet with you, talk with you. Let's have a beverage or two. If you don't imbibe, that's fine. I can drink iced tea too. I'm fine. And yes, as Joe said, that was a great time, and that was a lot of fun. And I look forward to meeting a lot more of you. I think that's so much fun. I get so much enjoyment out of it. And okay,
yeah.
So as Preston points out, I should come down for a Preds game and hang out with Rob and Boom Boom. And Preston, I can tell you that is something that is definitely already on the table. I do know, I think I'm in the Nashville area in April this year. So it's just finding a time, and hopefully the Preds are still playing.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? It's still too early in the year for me to take a shot at Toronto. So I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to start the new year off friendly.
There you go.
And that hurts. I don't like it.
I can tell.
I
think that hurt you as bad as DG talking nice about Oklahoma City yesterday.
Okay, first of all, that was painful. That was very, very painful for him. We do have, and I'm remiss because this is Thursday, and there is something that I have been dying to talk to you about since I started watching this thing. But before we get to that, it is some Stranger Things talk. And Rob, we talked about this on Tuesday, and you said you were just hoping and praying that Stranger Things 5 wasn't going, after season 5, the season finale wasn't going to be a letdown like Game of Thrones. And listen, we can agree to disagree on Game of Thrones. And if you haven't watched Stranger Things and you don't want to know what happened, tune out for the next 3 minutes, because this is nothing but Stranger Things talk. What are your thoughts?
I had I love quoting this movie. I had the Dumb and Dumber moment where it's like, I can't believe you did something so stupid, talking about the volume 2 of season 5, and then totally redeem yourself because volume 3 stuck the landing. I think they did well. I've seen critiques. I've seen people mad. I think at this point, you're just finding ways to be mad. I mean, that is a huge universe that, yes, there's a plot hole anywhere you look. There's too much going on. But I thought it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. I thought it was like watching a movie. I was engaged the whole time. Thought they stuck the landing, and they leave it open for other stuff that they can do with it now. So I was actually very surprised and very happy that they stuck the landing.
Anything happened in the finale that you were like, oh, damn, I did not see that one coming?
I think I thought somebody else would have died. I feel like they may have had a couple more deaths. But yeah, it seemed to play out pretty much. I was wrong about her sister. I really thought her sister was a traitor. I thought her sister was a bad guy in the movie or the show. And it turned out she wasn't. And she was actually really pivotal of getting Elle's future started. So I was wrong about that. I thought she definitely had a different agenda. I liked it. I really, it was good.
Yeah, you and I were on the same page because I think that Elle's sister was always that character that they never really got into how she fit into all of this. And then when you see, how she ended up being captured, how she ended up being controlled, and what they were using her for, it's like, oh, okay. She's not a bad guy. She's one of us type things.
Right. Yeah. Sarah Connor, I just call her Sarah Connor. I can't think of her real name. I'm just a big Terminator fan. I felt like her character could have had a little more. I feel like it could have had a closure. Maybe they're leaving it open for whatever they're doing in the future because I know they're doing more. So maybe they left her alive for that. I thought she could have had a little more. But no, man, I think it was good. I think a lot of people who didn't get a lot of runtime in the second volume and even this season, like Mike, we got to see more of him in this one, which I thought was good. I liked it. It was fun. I liked it. No complaints.
Yeah, so Nate said not enough 11, Will, and Mike in this one. I think, though, as you try to wrap up a finale, right, there's so many, and that's probably, if there was a criticism, it's that volume 2. They left so many things untied, that they had so much, right, to address.
Yeah.
That it's hard to put a bow on every single thing. And to your point, I think what that does, though, is eventually leaves things open for spinoffs. And so I'm excited to see the next direction and where they take this series.
Yeah, and one other critique, and it's not with the show, but apparently there's a play that only shows in New York and London, and it's basically a prequel of Henry and all those guys like Hopper and all those guys in high school. And it really shows what led Henry to getting to the cave and everything that happened in the cave. If I'm the Duffer Brothers, okay, I know you've got to have something to give us some backstory because not a lot of people know that. I mean, I watch a crap ton of YouTube, so I knew it based off of just stuff that I watch. But other people don't know that even exists. And if that's going to play into your finale, there's got to be something. You got to give the audience something to be able to view what happened. Like, you got to give us a YouTube video. Y'all got to do something. Even if it's a 15-minute, like, this is what happened when they were younger, hit all the high notes. That's the only thing I wish they hadn't done because, let's face it, who's going to New York and London to watch that play? I mean,
well, and not only that, but that's something that they could have put out like a 15-minute mini episode, right? Before they drop the season. Like,
yeah,
here's, Stranger Things roots and kind of get into laying some foundation on how that's all going to make sense for the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. 0 to 10. How would you rate it?
7. It's hard to stick a landing. I think if you can nail the series finale, that gives you a butt ton of points. I'd have probably given it 8.5 if it wasn't for that last few episodes. I think though, but I mean, every series has that, right? You have that lull where there's the part in the season or series where you're like, I didn't care as much for that part. I'd give it a good 7.5 though.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.5. I disagree with you and Joe that everyone hates the Game of Thrones final because I think the Game of Thrones finale was definitely a 10 out of 10.
Oh my God.
It was absolutely.
You're stuck in the upside down.
That was writing perfection. And yeah, to Nate G's point, he said they could have done the prequel series in the time it took to get the final season out. Absolutely. Give us something, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was what was it? 2022 was the last season that dropped before this one. Yeah, that's 3 years. You could have come up with 15 minutes.
You could have come up with something.
Yeah.
Look, New Year's Day, we got a ton of college football. Which one has the most importance for you?
Oh, that's tough. Indiana, Alabama. Just because this Indiana's in a spot they've never really – I mean, they were there last year, but they weren't where they're at this year. I would think that game is the most because I think I want to see Indiana do this thing. I want to see Indiana run the table. That's who I want to see win. I think it's that game because you got Bama. You got the former juggernaut. If you can knock them out, you're sitting pretty. I think that's what I'm going to go with, Indiana.
Okay. And before I get to my game that I'm real interested in, Scotty Tuhati brings up a great point. Don't forget that like button, man. Please. Like I said, we sent a group text this morning saying, what the hell happened? Because we went from X number to over 100 within the last 2 days. And so, yes, we are riding that algorithm wave. Help us paddle. Just hit that like button. Share us if you're on Twitter. We greatly appreciate it. I'm also watching the Alabama-Indiana game simply because, well, how are you, sir?
You said hi. There you go.
I'm watching that Alabama-Indiana game for a couple reasons. One, I think the weather is going to make for some sloppy play, and that usually leads to some mistakes, some fumbles, some short fields. But two, I really want to see how Indiana responds after watching what happened to Ohio State yesterday. And do they find a way to be that team, right? The number one team. This is their year. Are they going to be that team, or did they already win it in their mind and they're just not going to find a way to get past Alabama in this one? So I think that really stands out for me. I'm looking forward to that one.
I think that's the best thing that could have happened to Indiana. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Best thing that could have happened because you just saw Ohio State get handled. Now you got to think, okay, this is real now. We can't take this light. So, yeah, to your point, I think that's good for Indiana, seeing Ohio State go out and fall flat.
Well, I'll tell you this. I do know that tomorrow, Friday, January 2nd, right here on Weekday Wagers at 2 o'clock Eastern, you and I are going to be joined by DG, and we will be breaking down all of these games, what the playoff landscape looks like after tonight, because we'll have a much clearer picture. And we're going to get the weekend started. It'll be the first weekend of the year. We got our 12-pack of picks. Before I get you out of here, I do have one question because this was great. DG and I did this yesterday. Looking back at the year of the Weekday Wagers show last year, what was your favorite part of the year? And I'll give you a chance to think about it. I don't know if you caught it yesterday, but I'll tell you mine again. Okay. Yeah. It sucks for us because we had losing streaks and it humbles you like nothing else in this world. I mean, it's just a feeling of sickness. What was your favorite moment of the show last year?
It wasn't my favorite, but yes, the chip contest was something that I felt like if I had a reverse bucket list, that would have been at the top of it. And yeah, that was definitely a moment. I think all the split decisions, I think those were some of the funniest things. One that wasn't on the show was Peyton. You and Peyton were doing split decision. And I was driving and listening to you guys live. And I'm like, oh, Peyton has a layup. He can easily beat Mark. And then he went with Ronald Acuna and somebody else and totally screwed it up. So, like, I mean, we were driving, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing? So that still sticks in my mind throughout last year was with Peyton's just fumble and that split decision that he should have won. I like this in another one I wasn't on. Was you guys messing with Seabass?
I was just going to say that listen, if you're right, I forgot all about Peyton, but that, as Joe puts out, Mark and Peyton's split decision was an all-timer. And then poor Seabass, right? Seabass comes on split decision, and we talked about what is the best collegiate conference in the United States, and this was set up by DG and I. Obviously, we knew that question was coming. For those of you who don't know, Chris Bassett is a SEC guy. There is no other collegiate conference in his mind. There's just nothing else. So I chose the SEC, and instead of taking up the full 30 seconds to explain, I just said the SEC is the best. I'm sticking with it. I'm giving all my time to Seabass to figure out the rest of it. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a good one too.
That was a good one. All the good ones were ones I wasn't even on, which I don't know how much it says about me. But
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll
tell you what. No, Joe absolutely loved Robbie's radar. It's not going to happen again. It happened once. Not going to happen again. Robbie's radar was his favorite part of 2025. So we got that. We will be back here tomorrow at 2:00 Eastern, right here at the Weekday Wagers with your 12-pack of picks. Listen, thank you guys so much for spending your January 1st, your holiday, the first day of 2026 with myself, with Robbie. Until tomorrow, take care of yourself. Be kind to one another. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you later.